Hello everyone, I am D-Mind, the mind of one and all, and welcome back to another episode of One Small Fire at a Time. In the last episode we got Drake back, and now we are in more exposition. The writers love exposition, and if they follow their same pattern as the last game, this will just keep going on and on. Many things we take for granted as normal are nothing more than accidents of statistics. Well, I mean, it's interesting, like, now they're posing questions, like, that are quite philosophical, and it builds the world. Like I said, exposition is a good thing. There should be exposition, but, you know, you should draw a line, or at least balance it out, or try to put something in between them to make it more, so it's not just information dump. Statistically, the majority of people are magicians, so society is centered around magic as a way of life. Statistically, people love to talk, so society is built around communication. And statistically, the writers of this game love to put exposition, so the lack of exposition would be considered the abnormal, you see? Statistically, people are cheerful, so society is designed to be a home for happy people. People on the wrong side of those statistics are expected to adapt to what is favored. Those who can't are branded mad and sent to madhouses so they can be a little more like the majority. All because of a statistical accident. But just as life without magic is possible, it's not hard to imagine other kinds of societies where people who we brand are as insane are the majority. If the majority of people didn't like to talk, would society cease to exist? Or would it just be less reliant on direct communication, and instead favor a different method to bring people together? If the majority of people were hallucinating on a daily basis, would society collapse? Or would it just build itself around hallucinations? Like I said, you're just beating a dead horse now, I get it. I'm not sure about society built around hallucinations, Aiden said. That sounds crazy. Crazy? Perhaps, Sherwood replied. But remember that a society of non-magicians is actually possible, as hard as that is to imagine. The only reason we have the society we ended up with is because of the many completely arbitrary accidents of statistics. Colton Sherwood stopped to catch his breath, but after a while continued. And that's another reason I don't want to take magic away from that suicidal boy. Just like his lunacy, it's a part of who he is. This madhouse was made to be a home for mad people, those born on the wrong side of statistics. Eclipse is not a correctional facility. I don't try to make the mad become normal. Even if you can teach inmates to be normal, that's basically forcing them to pretend to be someone they are not for the rest of their lives. And if they don't, society will reject them. Society doesn't understand these people, so they are being blindly hostile towards them. Lunatics can't survive among normal people. It's a dangerous place full of people who are ignorant and intolerant. But here, Eclipse is safe. They don't have to fear rejection. They don't have to be normal. What my wife and I are giving them is a place where they can be who they are. A place where they can be safe from society. A shelter from the outside world, if you will. They can live here forever without worry. Ah, forgive me, shall we say. I just kept blathering on and on about my own work. Not at all, Johan interjected. I found it very interesting. I've never thought about madness that way. You must really love the children here. Yes, Oriella and I have been married for a long time, but we don't have any children. We treat every child here as if they were our own. Johan and Sherwood continued to talk, but Aiden had stopped participating in the discussion. He was lost in his own thoughts. A shelter, Colton Sherwood called it. They can live here forever, he claimed. And what's with the screech? There's something wrong. Either Wolf wasn't sure if he liked how that sounded. Chapter 9, Sanity is overrated. I mean, yeah, that's such an overrated thing, you know. So mainstream, gotta be hipster now. Yo. It's this damn ceiling again. I retreated to my room not long after dinner, and now a goddamn eternity later, the ceiling is still mocking me. I don't know what tired me out so much, but all I wanted to do is sleep. Sleep and forget everything. Sleep and not have to think about anything anymore. Sleep and stay asleep for as long as I want. Was my search for Drake so exhausting? No, I don't think that's it. I wonder how he's doing now. I used to only think of him as a bully, but now that I know about his condition, I feel sorry for him. What's it like to live with social phobia? It must be pretty awful to see all those people around you, and all you can feel is loneliness. I wonder if Drake also stares at his ceiling at night and laments his condition. No, as misguided as it was, Drake actually did something to overcome his anxiety. He became a bully so he could interact with others. I admire that determination. If I were him, I'd just lock myself up in my room and make it a sanctuary where I could be alone. I find comfort. I feel safe. I could... like this? Like now? Right now, all I can do is have a staring contest with a damn ceiling. Drake is anxious around people, but does that mean he feels safe and comfortable when he's alone? When a mage is chased by a group of enemy magicians in battle, will he feel safe when he finds a hiding place? No. Escape doesn't provide comfort or safety. At best, it's a temporary relief. Drake doesn't want to be alone anymore. Then a mage wants to hide from his enemy. He wouldn't have to become a bully if he did. But now he has to hide again, and it's because of me. I made his condition worse. It's my fault. I took away the only thing that helped him feel normal. It's my fault. Now Drake has to be all alone again, and it's my fault. It's all my fault. I'm a terrible person. I should be the one who has Drake's madness. It wouldn't matter if I had social phobia. On the contrary, it would save people from having to deal with a terrible person like me. I don't have any friends anyway, so it wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. I just want to sleep. I sit up in my bed, showered by darkness. I stare off into space, my silence is in harmony with the nights. I want to sleep. What time is it now? Not too long ago I could still hear a faint chatter from downstairs. I want to sleep. A warm drop of water lands on my arm. I want to sleep. Where do you get that one drop of water? I hear sobbing. Then there's another drop of water. Warm drop of water, tears, but even then it would have cold. It would have been cold by now. It wouldn't have been warm. A pair of rivulets runs down my cheeks, more sobbing. I close my eyes, the streams widen. I bite my lip to quit the sobbing down, but it only makes my cheeks wetter. Even more sobbing, muffled but louder. Mucus oozes out from my nose. I wipe it with the back of my hand, but more comes out. I can feel the muscles in my face contorting in ways they don't normally. My face is all wet and gooey and gross. It only gets worse with every sob. In paintings, you often see beautiful women portrayed with melancholic expressions, with one or two tears trickling down their cheeks. They always look so lovely, so vulnerable, so delicate, so bittersweet. Real crying looks nothing like that. Even the most beautiful women would look ugly when she cried for real. I can only imagine how grotesque I look right now. I don't want to know why I'm crying. The tears just decided to come out by themselves. I had no way of stopping them. Am I sad? I don't think so. I can't say I'm particularly happy, but sad? What would I be sad about? I'm crying for no reason at all. But that's okay. Sometimes I want to cry for no reason. It's not sadness that makes me want to cry. I don't really know what it is. It's just an urge I can't really explain. And that's okay. It feels good. It feels good to cry. My crying stops as abruptly as it started. I sit quietly in my bed, no longer sobbing despite my still damp eyes. The night is still silent, the room is still dark. I don't feel any different from before I cried, or while I was crying. My heart feels empty, I feel nothing. I don't know what to think about. Maybe I should try to think happy thoughts, but I don't have any memories I could really describe as happy. The closest thing to happy I can think of is probably when I'm with Candela. It's fun to watch her take on anything life throws at her without a care in the world. I remember Candela innocently laughing at her own joke. Maybe we should all be like Candela and find happiness even in the little things in life. Even sane people have so many requirements that need fulfilled in order to be happy. It's not money. If it's not money, it's love or friendship. And it's not just those. They also need a sense of achievement or fulfillment of some sort. Artists need appreciation for their work. Scientists need acknowledgement from their peers. Sport athletes need to win at least some of the time. And these writers need to add exposition every now and then. There's no such thing as easy happiness. Well, unless you're mad enough. If you could be as carefree as Candela, you'd be happy all the time. Those needs would make no difference to you. Sanity is overrated. I want to sleep. I wipe away any tears and snot still left on my face and decide to get up. I wanted to sleep and you get up. I wandered aimlessly around, everyone is sound asleep at this hour. Except me and somebody else. I see a man standing alone on the yard, gazing up at the moon. Lol, you just see him and like, well, I'm going back to my room, nothing to see here. Alright, we're safe. I want to talk to Commander, but I just want to see what happens if I go back to my room. Will he catch me? Oh no, I get a negative from him. I guess I'll leave him alone. I might not have just social phobia, but that doesn't mean I enjoy talking to strangers. And that's what Commander is, a stranger. I go back to my room. Oh, no! I just wanted to see what happens. Like, I just find it funny. Like, you just walk in, see him, and like, alright, back to my room. Talk to Commander. Commander? Janice, why are you here this late at night? Probably the same reason you are. Commander smiles at my answer. If I told you to go back to your room and sleep, would you do it? No. Thought so. I stand beside Commander. We let the chilly night air comfort us in silence while we watch the sky. This isn't... okay. Commander and I revel in the moonlight. It's almost a full moon. Do you like the moon? I don't hate it. I see. Commander, did you know that lunacy is caused by the full moon? Is it? Yeah, people go mad whenever there's a full moon. That's why it's called lunacy. Luna means moon. You know that the moon affects the tides in the ocean, right? Yes, the high tides are higher during full moons. Well, the human brain's mostly made out of water too. Something like 70%. That means it is also affected by the same magical power that the moon has over the tides. Is that so? I never knew about that. Well, now you do. Yes, that's interesting. Wait, what about the new moon? The tides are just as high during new moons. Hahaha. Don't believe everything people tell you, Commander. That was just a lie. Who knows? That theory was actually proposed by some really smart philosophers from ancient times. Some people still believe it to this day. Though I personally think it's a load of bullcrap. The moon's power can barely affect lakes, let alone something with a fraction of the water. And you already pointed out the inconsistency of the new moon. Besides, it doesn't matter whether it's a new moon, crescent moon, half moon, or full moon. Candlelight's just as weird. And I still can't use magic. Can I tell you something else? Sure. Everyone has a family name, right? Candlelight is Candela Carol, Anna is Anna Polidori, Fia is Fia Leone, Drake is Drake Perrault. But Janice is just Janice. Why don't you have a family name? Because I don't have a family. I think I came from a pretty rich family. My house was like half as large as this building. Even though only my parents and I lived there with a few servants. Probably some kind of nobility. So when my parents learned that their child couldn't use magic, they freaked out. They called teachers from all over Overture to try to teach me magic. Some of them were famous magical scientists, some were battle mages, some were athletes in magic sports. But nobody could get me to cast a single spell. When I was 8, they sent me to this madhouse. They kept checking on me for about a year, but then I never saw them again. They never told me they weren't coming back, but I must have sensed the finality in our goodbyes because after their last visit I always told everyone to just call me Janice. Maybe I hated the sound of my surname because it reminded me of the family who abandoned me. And before I knew it, I had completely forgotten my surname. Mr. and Mrs. Sherwood probably still know, but I never bothered to ask. So Janice is just Janice. It must be such a disgrace to have a child who can't use magic. Is that so? Well, my parents apparently thought so. They rather throw me away than let me tarnish the family name. They probably paid Mr. and Mrs. Sherwood in advance for me to stay here, for my stay here, but I don't know how long. For how long? I could get kicked out any day now. Commander, can I ask you something? Go ahead. Do you think I'll ever learn to use magic? Commander gazes at the moon again. For a while, he says nothing. When he finally speaks, there is a somber tone in his voice. One day, I took my 4-year-old daughter out to buy some toys. My wife was waiting at home. When we came home, I was shocked to find the door open, so I rushed inside. The house was a disaster. There was stuff scattered all over the place. I ignored all of it. I ran as fast as I could to my room, shouting my wife's name. Commander pauses to take a deep breath before he continues. There I saw my wife, lying in a pool of blood, with a giant rock jutting out of the floor through a hole in her chest. I could see the horrific look on her face. Next to her was a man wearing a black mask. I was stunned. I couldn't believe my eyes. I wanted to scream, but it felt like something was stuck in my throat. The man warned me not to move, and he aimed his trembling hand at me. I could see his bloodshot eyes bulging right through his mask. I heard a yell, "Mommy!" Wait, how did Wolf suddenly get such a high-pitched voice? I heard the yell, "Mommy!" and saw my daughter dart past me to her mother's lifeless body. The robber must have been shocked to see somebody suddenly running at him because he cast a spell. A blast of wind exploded from his hand. Since I was still in shock, I failed to react fast enough. Of course, the song is playing now is Moonlight Sonata, isn't it? The wind crushed my little girl's head into a wall. Commander's expression didn't change much, but I can see his moonlit face overtaken by sorrow. Ashley was already dead by the time I caught her body in my arms. He shut his eyes as his lips quivered for a moment. He opened his eyes again to stare at the moon. That was 9 years ago. If Ashley was still alive, she'd be your age. But now Wolf is just Aiden Wolf. What happened to the robber? I'd rather not talk about the details. Let's just say it was the most horrible thing I've ever done in my life. Commander slowly shifts his gaze to me. We stare into each other's eyes. It's extremely difficult to learn magic after a certain age. There are people outside Overture who've never known magic. Even if we gave them mana potions, they wouldn't magically be able to use magic. It would already be too late for their bodies to naturally learn how to control the flow of mana, or how to activate the magical traits, or how to invoke the magical abilities. Those are things that magicians subconsciously learn during infancy through imitation. We imitate our parents with magic, the same way we do for walking and talking. When Overture discovered magic in one of our colonies, our ancestors couldn't use it right away, either. They had to get the natives to teach their children, and their children's children, until our people mastered it. So no, you probably will never be able to use magic. I suspected as much. But as a father who lost his daughter, let me tell you this, if I could have my Ashley back, I wouldn't care if she could use magic. I happily accept my daughter magic or no magic. Chapter 10 Lunatic Utopia. Of course, now we're gonna learn about... Last time it was Libertad. Well, last time it's the future, but now it's a lunatic utopia, is it? Maybe he's building an army of lunatics. 2 days after his visit to Eclipse, Aiden Wolf went to see Johann Poe. He hoped the professor had learned something from analyzing the latest sample. Hard to say, Johann commented while fiddling with a machine whose function Aiden wasn't familiar with. Even more funny looking machinery sat around the laboratory. Aiden was curious of their functions, but he decided to focus on the issue at hand. What about the sample from our first visit? Aiden asked. Did you learn anything from it? I did. Johann stopped tinkering with his machine and turned to meet the commander's gaze. I learned that it looks, feels and tastes the same as a regular mana potion, and that it works just as well. So it's just a normal mana potion then? Hard to say, Johann shrugged. Johann's answer got on Aiden's nerves, but he wasn't about to argue with a professor of magical science. Will you be able to learn anything this time? The professor didn't answer right away. He threw Aiden a rather cryptic glance that Aiden loosely interpreted as who knows. He almost expected Johann to say exactly that, but instead the professor replied, I'll do some more detailed measurements with the latest sample. Last time I focused on more qualitative traits than quantitative. Visual observations, small tests, taste tests. But this time around I'll produce some numbers for mathematical analysis. For example, the professor continued, a spell's magical power is logarithmic logarithmically, yes, that's how you pronounce it, proportional to the amount of mana spent, right? I'll check whether I can observe the same characteristic with Eclipse's potion. Aiden wasn't aware of the mathematical side of magic at all. When he wanted fire to come out of his hands, fire came out of his hands. That was all he ever needed to know. He replied, nevertheless. Good. Hopefully that will allow us to prove that Eclipse's potions are illegal. Johan stroked his beard. I wouldn't expect too much. To be honest, the only way to know for sure if there's anything funny with this potion is to do it the old-fashioned way. Which is controlled study. The answer came casually as if it was the obvious answer. Gather a large enough group of people, divide them into two groups, give one of them Eclipse's potions, give the other regular potions. Then we watch them closely for say 6 months or so and see if anything comes up. Well, that's an oversimplification. We may need more control groups to account for a lot of other variables: the person's age, their magical affinity, magical traits, their experience with magic in general. You get the idea. But the biggest problem is that we are not even sure what effects we should be looking for. We have to design the experiment around a number of hypotheses, and the problem with that is we won't know if something is statistically significant or just a sampling error. We have to consider the p-value for each of them and... Alright, I get it. I didn't interrupt it. Actually, he didn't really understand most of the technical jargon, but he got the gist of it. Oh good. The professor smiled, at first amusedly, then apologetically. Sorry, Wolf. I know it's not what you wanted to hear, but magical science really is that. Science. It really isn't as simple as some people make it out to be. I understand. Thank you for your hard work. No problem, Johan said. The professor resumed his work tinkering with the machine on his desk while occasionally glancing at the small vials in front of him that glinted blue in the sunlight. Aiden didn't know what the professor was testing, but it didn't matter. What did matter was that he found evidence to support that Sherwood was involved in illegal activities. Aiden wondered if Johan would say anything else, but the professor's gaze only shifted between the machine and the potions and a piece of paper on which he was scribbling some magic formula. I'll leave you to your work. Please excuse me. Are you going to Eclipse? No, not today. Aiden could tell that Colton Sherwood really wanted to do business with Joff, but having a police commander show up too often may cause Sherwood to suspect foul play. Maybe Aiden should get one of his subordinates to pretend to be a magical mechanical employee. He'll have to talk to Joff about that later. Well, I'll be meeting with Joff today, Johan said. I'm going to request one of his engineers to help me build... Oh wait, that's Johan. I'm going to request one of the engineers to help me build a magic machine to help with the analysis. Can't you build it yourself? I do know quite a bit about magic machines. They are an application of magical science after all, and my area of research is magic systems, which still fall under applied magics. But building magic machines requires some specialized knowledge that's being studied in a new field called magical engineering. Johan finally noticed Aiden rolling his eyes. Yeah, that's me all the time when this... Aiden is me right now, and the writers of this game is Johan Poole. But you're not here to learn about magical engineering. I see, Aiden said. Talk to you later, Johan. Later, Wolf. Professor Poole went back to his machine as Aiden headed for the door. The Dragoon hoped that the professor would complete his analysis soon. Colton Sherwood seemed like a good-natured alienist who truly cared about the children in his care, but Commander Woolf had a mission to find proof that the madhouse owner was guilty. And we got the dots. Of course, always with the dots. Always with the dots. But I think this is a good place to end it. No, it's a bit early, but either way, it's a good place to end it, so I'm ending it. So, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Twitter at DMindGaming if you have enjoyed. And I hope to see you again in the next episode.